I'm Ricky Rogers. I'm the construction maintenance team lead for Anadarko Asset. We had a homegrown access database for our work management system, and there was a lot of frustration, a lot of pain. Contractors didn't have clear orders or where they were working until the morning they showed up, so they didn't have the supplies or the right equipment when they showed up to work. A lot of time was spent, getting the right machinery, getting the right equipment, and then looking for the parts to do the job that they were given orders to do that day. And then it was what I do now, people sitting waiting on them, parts not there, and then did we do that yesterday, or what do we got to do tomorrow? No, we're just in a total, I call it just basically a chaos state. When new work was added to the system, we would just add people, contractors. We'd go find somebody that could do that for us, send them out there and have them take care of it for us, okay? And then we were relying on their systems to feed our systems to get that information back. I mean, basically we just implemented small pieces of it at a time. It was overwhelming on what all we needed to move into the new system. We picked specific projects, for instance, our safety critical equipment, and we started implementing that program first. Okay. After we got that program kind of lined out, and they had the buy-in and saw how it was going to work, saw that it was scheduled. They didn't have to reschedule it for next year. That system's in place. Then we moved to the getting the preventive maintenance for our gas-fired engines in was the next step. It had a lot of good data in it, but it had a lot of data that was incorrect or in the wrong place, or we took time instead of just doing these huge bulk dumps and dumping everything to the new system. We took time, and as that work was scheduled or needed to be scheduled, we cleansed that data and put it in there. And we found a lot of problems with our data that we actually thought was good by doing it this way. We run KPIs on the schedule, the weekly schedule, and all three areas are really competitive, and they all want to score highest on 100% on those KPIs, and it's really fun to see their buy-in and the competition that they have with each other. But basically, they've been running in the 95 to 100% weekly. In their mind, there was no way you knew what you were going to do tomorrow until tomorrow got here. The number of contractors that were working for us before is probably about 50 to 40% of what we're working today. And I would say today we're doing a larger volume of work than we were doing at that time too. Before we got this in place, you'd come into one of these offices in the morning, and what you would see is a group of BP people that is actually looking and working, trying to pull something together for a huge group of contractors that are there waiting for it. I mean, the buildings were full. The conference room was full of construction contractors waiting for their work order packet and to do work. Basically now what you see those contractors filter in the morning from 7 to 7:30, and they're all gone. Most of our PMs that are in place are now scheduled for the life of the equipment. A scheduler, he pulls a week schedule ahead of time, and basically all he's doing is just running a report and gathering everything that needs to be done in a certain next week, and then starting to actually go out and visit these sites, see what resources are needed, who needs to do it, what parts they need, and so that work can be done next week. They've made the comment to me, if we took this system away from them, that they would find something else to do. So they've really taken ownership of the system, and they'll push back on setting priorities and those requests that it has to be done today. They understand that most of the time it doesn't have to be done today, but if it does have to be done today, it can be. I think one thing that I would do differently the next time is I would spend a little more time of actually putting the group of the planners and schedulers, bringing them together on a regular weekly or bi-weekly basis, and letting them visit about their concerns and their problems they're having with the system. Uh, Basically, the way I done it this past time was I would just kind of take a visit with each one of them and see that somebody's really getting frustrated. And I learned by pulling them together, his frustrations may be something that somebody else is doing the similar role has already taken care of and worked through. So uh, basically, it's just creating that team. And for this group, they weren't in the same office. It wasn't like they were next door. They're 50 to 60 miles apart. And it took some work to get them to pull together so they could start bouncing things off each other. And if I was to do it over again, I would try to speed that process up. Yeah, basically, I'd like to say, a big part of the implementation and getting these people in this place was also bringing in some resources from other areas. WMS had a coaching team that come in and has worked with these guys going on probably around a year and a half and going for at least 2 years. And these are guys who have worked the system and could get a hold of the people to make changes where it would work for us. And it's been very valuable having them there. And they're there on a daily basis.